Welcome back. This is episode 3 of our Audi A3 project. So far in the previous episode, you've seen us collect the car. You've seen us start stripping down the engine, stripping down the wheel well. We drain the fluids. Obviously, before all that, we got it up on jack stands. In this episode, we're confident we can make some real progress into keeping the timing. That will happen. Then it's just a case of actually removing the head. Yeah. Like everything, it sounds a lot more simple than it is. We are kind of learning as we go, and getting through it as quickly as we can. But stay tuned, follow along, and hopefully in the next clip you'll see us begin to do the timing. Cheers. Okay, so we'll start by taking off this cover for the belts. Should be some clips on both sides, which pop right off. There's that. All straightforward. Pop this over here. So if you come over here, this is our cam belt, cam pulleys. What we need to do in a really simple explanation is get this all so the piston 1 is top dead center. Then we've got our timing tools. We're going to keep the timing on it. Step 1 will to be just loosen the lower pulley, and then get these marks top dead center. So we are underneath the car. We've removed the wheel arch liner. What we want to do, we've got a 19mm star socket. I'm going to get onto this pulley, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this clockwise, and we need to get these like crown timing marks to the top, and that's how I know the piston one's in the top dead center. So you're looking at the top, I'm underneath, just turning this, and Luke with the camera is going to let me know when we're approaching the top. Touch from there. Yeah, a fair bit more.
Tiny bit more and we'll be there. Yeah.
Let's have a look.
We're close.
I'd say a tad more. Let's see if I'm going to grab a torch. That's this. Hopefully through there. I'm just looking through the pulley now. Yeah, so we can see straight through there. We might need to go back just a touch, but that is where our timing tool is going to go to keep the timing. Let's see if we can see on this one as well. We won't be able to see that. Right, shaky footage. Let me line those up perfectly, and then we'll come back. So we need to remove, there's 2 bolts here. There's one that we've just about got access to there, and there's another one in underneath. You can't quite see it on film. Now, to get access to the one underneath, we need to take the tension off the tensioner. That's going to give us access to this one and the one underneath. Now, to keep the tension off so we can work on it, we're going to take a drill bit, put it through here, and it's going to mount into there. We'll show you. A screwdriver on that. Pin that down and get my drill bit and put it through here, and that's going to mount, just give that a little wiggle, mount that just into there, and that's holding that now. You can see it's keeping the tension off, but also means we've got access to this bolt. Let's whiz these 2 off. Access is tricky, but we've given all the access we can. Top one out. Now onto the bottom one, just underneath. And that is the pulley tensioner out. Next step is to go underneath, take out a few more bolts. Okay, so we've just loosened the 4 bolts off this pulley. Next step is to get these casing mount bolts off. You can see one there. there's the bottom bolt for the engine mount, which we'll loosen. I think we'll be able to get it all the way off because the chassis is in the way, but we'll get that done and then move on to the next step. So in edit, this is where I realise that a good amount of these clips here don't have any audio in. So that means I'm going to try my best to voice over from this clip onwards. Bear with me, I'm going to try my best to kind of go over everything that we're doing, try and remember step by step and word for word what I said. It might be a bit ropey, but towards the end over here, the mics were turned on and they are working in, so it's just going to be just a few in the middle here. Underneath the car here, we have removed the crank pulley, which is going to give us access to these casing bolts behind. There's a couple there and just a few more up there. So we can take those out. Here is the lower engine mount. We're gonna back this one off as well. I'm not sure if we'll be able to take it all the way out because the chassis might be in the way. And with that, the crankcase is off. Next, now we're going to have a go at this engine mount here. It's quite tight underneath there. Luke's going to jump on this one. Crack it loose. Obviously these are engine mounts, so they're nice and tight. As you can see, we're right, the bolt's coming into contact with the chassis, so we're not going to be able to back it all the way out. So if we come up to the top, here's the engine mount. Our next step is to take this off. Obviously, the engine mount is keeping the engine in place, so we're going to need to take the weight of the car from underneath. So getting the jack underneath the car here, we're going to take the weight of the engine by getting it underneath the oil sump, so just lining it up, jack it up, and to make sure it's not metal on metal here, I'm going to get a piece of wood, put it on top of the jack, also help kind of distribute the load here, but put it on top of the jack, jack this up, get it underneath the engine. To support the weight, so then we can take the engine mount off, obviously, and then the engine's not going to just drop to the floor. A lot more fighting and taking a lot more time than I'd like to admit. With that, the engine mount is off. Also, just mounts down here from the chassis of the car into the actual engine itself. It's got one bolt, so yeah, it was quite a battle, but that's done. That's completely off. Down here now, you can see it's given us access to where we need to do the timing, the pulleys, the camshaft, the cam belt, sorry, there. The pulleys. In fact, in the next clip, you'll see us go ahead and remove the tension so we can start to do the timing. Here we are now where we've made all the space. I'm going to take off the tensioner nuts here. And removing that engine mount has just given me, well, the possibility, but all the room to be able to get a ratchet down in there. Once I've got that nut loosened off, I'll grab an Allen key, and I have just dropped the bolt actually, which I'll pick up later. I have an Allen key, which I had handy, pop it in, back it up, and you'll see it just taking the tension off the cam belt there, which means we'll be able to pull it off. Yeah. This is our timing kit. They're not expensive things. I think this was like £30. It all seems quite intimidating now we're here, but it is all quite simple to use. So these pins, these locator pins, I'm going to go through these pulleys and lock into the engine. So I'll see if I can get you down there to see. Let's have a look. Just through there. Let's have a look. Just through there. You should be able to see all the way through. And there's that little hole. There's also one just there as well. So what we want to do, get this. Now I will grab a mallet, because it might take some persuasion. That's going in quite well. Knock that in. That is well and truly in. And that is going to hold that in place. We'll repeat the same just here. Access to this one might be a bit more tricky, a bit trickier. We are hitting fuel hoses there. That's the brake fluid reservoir. I'm kind of don't necessarily want to take that out if I don't need to. Okay, we're going to check back in once I've managed to locate this pin. Took a bit of persuasion with a mallet on this side too, but both of those pins are now in, keeping these top two pulleys. Next, let's go underneath and keep the position of the crank. So if you follow me down under here, you want to come right underneath. So here's the crank. Just here you can see, I'll use this, a little arrow just there. We want to line, so there's the arrow. We want to line that arrow up to this arrow on the tool. We'll slide that in, and this pin here is going to locate into, just grab a torch if I can find one. It will locate into just there at the back. See here? I've got a screwdriver in there. I wanted to get a screwdriver in to clear it out a little bit. So let's see if we can't slide this in. Need to slide in and drop. So first of all, you can see those are lining up, which is brilliant and exactly what we want. See those two lined up? That means this is going to stay in place. I'm going to give this a bit of persuasion as well to mount to the hole. Sometimes these can get dirty. So I've got the screwdriver in there. I just need that pin to locate in. Because it's tight in the hair, and you know that you can hear me heavy breathing, we'll check back in once that's located. We have our two pins in there, keeping the pulleys. Down underneath is the crank lock that I showed you. It is now located in just down at the bottom, and that is everything held in terms of the timing. Pins are all in, bottom locator's in. We slack these off. That'll be a case of pulling the belt off. From the top. hey ho, cam belt is off. Take it all the way off. That will be fun to put back on. That is our cam belt. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, this is another one. We're not going to be replacing this. Should we? While we're here, probably. But made in Germany. This is a VW belt, and it was replaced 10,000 miles ago. So, we are going to be sticking this back on. And with that, we have just completed the timing, or keeping the timing on this engine. I mentioned it in a few clips back, but it's very important to keep the timing on the engine, so when we start taking it apart and put it back together, things aren't out of time, which would damage our engine essentially. Now, that's timing done. That is actually mine and Luke's first ever timing job on an engine. It all seems quite intimidating, but when we kind of break it down in our minds and process wise, step by step, it's all okay. It's all quite achievable. And to be honest, that's the case with everything we're finding. I mean, you see an engine stripped down like this, and it seems really intimidating. I'm putting it back together. Saying all this, putting it back together is not going to be too fun. But we're going to kind of leave this episode at that, with the timing being done. Before we do, I have a question for you guys, actually. So across the last couple episodes, you've seen two kind of different filming styles. One was with the camera, kind of where it is now on a tripod, coming down into the engine bay, and you were seeing us just kind of tick box, take bits off, bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. We've done this, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this, and kind of moving through. Today's episode, with the timing, was a bit more kind of step by step, seeing what we're doing, and there's been essence of that in other clips as well. So one thing to note is we're not shooting how-to videos here. You can use it as a guide if you want. We are just learning. We're learning via the internet. We've got this. The Audi A3 Owners and Workshop Manual. I flicked through this a good number of times, every step of the way, to make sure that we're doing the job right. So we're not doing how-to videos. My question is, what kind of filming style do you prefer? Do you prefer the kind of step-by-step, seen as loosen every bolt and take every kind of little piece apart? Or do you think more kind of cut to the chase? We've done this, we've ticked this off, and this is where we are. Might be better for filming. For the rest of, perhaps for next episode, we'll probably continue with a mix of both. Maybe we'll just continue with a mix of both moving forward. But I was interested to know what you think, what kind of style you think. Again, we're new at this. So any kind of feedback on any of the work we've done, on the filming style, on the content itself. I think there's going to be a few clips in this episode where the microphone was even off, so I might need to voice over those. Any feedback at all, please put it down in the comments. We're new, we're learning how to do YouTube, we're learning how to fix cars, we're learning engines. So any feedback, please put it down in the comments. That was the episode on timing. In the next episode, you'll see us get into the meat of taking off the head. That will be coming out next week. This is Grit and Grease. Luke's behind the camera. Tripod broke, just another teething thing. This is Grit and Grease. I'm Kyle.
I'm Luke.
That's Luke. We'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe. Please do comment if there's anything that you want to get through to us, any questions. If we're doing anything wrong, we must have done something wrong, tell us in the comments. We're all here to learn, but we will see you in the next one.